give Robert a second to reshare the slides, present them.
Sorry about that. I just had to
Yeah, man, no
set up the
problem.
recording.
Right. So you know how we start every single Nesbi meeting? We say the Nesbi mission statement. So Robert, will you go to the next slide, please? So as per usual, I want everyone to unmute and say the Nesbi mission statement. The mission statement of the National Society of Black Engineers is
to increase
the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who
develop academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact the community.
Ah, yes, I love to hear it. We'll get started by going through a few announcements, and then we'll get straight into our programming for this GBM. So as per usual, mark your calendars. Black History Month is going to be packed this year with a lot of stuff coming up. So special things is this Sunday, Mood is having a career fair prep session that he's going to talk about in the next slide. Delta Sigma Theta is having a program on the 8th called Project Diva, and ASA's first GBM of the semester is on the 10th. And I'm sure you guys are all aware that the CCPD is having their career fair on the 10th as well. And then 2 weeks into the future, you can see all the events they're having up. Alpha Alpha is having a community service event. Regeneron is having a Nesbi discussion on the 17th. The details for that are already in the Discord. And our second GBM of Black History Month will be on the 18th, and we're going to be talking about Black entrepreneurship. And as always, study jams are at 7 p.m. on every Wednesday in the Nesbi RPI Discord.
What's up, guys? So yeah, as Eman said, we're going to be having the career fair on Wednesday, February 10th. So in order to help you guys prepare for that event, I'm going to be hosting one-on-one sessions, 30-minute sessions, to help you guys prepare for the career fair. We can talk about interviews, resumes, anything that you guys really think will help you guys prepare for the career fair. I'm here to help you guys with. Also, if you guys haven't registered yet, make sure to register through a handshake. And once you guys register, make sure to actually sign up for sessions to speak to companies, because they're actually filling up real quick.
Right, thank you for that, Mahmoud. So make sure you guys sign up. Mahmoud is great at what he does, so make sure you take advantage of that. What's the next slide, Robert? So coming soon, this school year is coming to the end. That also means that we will be looking for new people to take over the roles in our e-board. So on March 4th, our e-board applications will be opening, and don't worry, we're going to be having some e-board information sessions that are going to get you more familiar with what exactly that means to be on the Nesbi RPI email. So the dates and times haven't been decided yet, but stay tuned for those announcements and make sure you come through if you're interested in being on the e-board. Maverick, are you here? Do you want to speak on this real quick?
Yo, what's up, guys? So as you know, the national convention is coming up. Whoop, whoop. Obviously, it will not be in person like we all wished it was. So it will be held virtually on April 5th through the 9th. Please fill out the LOI. I'm about to drop the link. Please fill it out if you're interested in going. The due date is this Friday. So please fill it out. I'm about to drop the link as well.
If you don't know when this Friday is, that's tomorrow. So just make sure you fill that out ASAP.
Oh, that really is tomorrow. Yeah.
That's me. So if you're already in the Discord server, you should have seen this little link in the unverified channel and gotten your RPI ID kind of set up with your Discord. But if you haven't already, I will drop the link. This is just for, we got hacked a little bit one time, so we're trying to make sure that if you are an RPI student, want to be in the Discord and stay in it, just to verify your email with it. That's, if you're not in the Discord yet, that's the link. And then the second link that I'm putting is for the verification. So it's super quick. Takes like 30 seconds.
Yep, it's really easy. All you have to do is log in with your RCS ID. That's basically it. You can go to the next slide, Robert. Another thing that we're trying in the Discord this year is study groups. So I know with this new virtual learning, it's kind of hard sometimes to meet people in your class or, work with people. So if you're interested in being placed in study groups, please fill out these forms with the classes that you're taking. And we're going to try to do your best to put everybody together in Discord that are taking the same classes. This is obviously not like only exclusive to Nesbi RPI members. So if you have friends that you want to include, feel free to share with them, and we can also get them plugged in as well. All righty, so I'm going to hand it over to Tahira and Braylon, and they'll get us started talking about imposter syndrome today.
Okay, we might have to reshare the screen for audio, Robert, if you want to do that.
We tested it out earlier. It should work. So.
Okay. So we're gonna start off with the video. This is they just graduated from one of them just graduated from medical school. They are black girl, white coat, and they're gonna talk about imposter syndrome for like 3 minutes, and then we'll discuss after that. So you can go ahead and play it. So we can't hear it.
Oh, wow, we just tested this and it was working. I don't know. That's hilarious. With this new virtual thing, it works when it doesn't work when it needs to work. That's really what it is.
Yeah, it was working like 20 minutes ago. So do you want to keep playing an email or
is it playing? I think you have to do it to yourself and reshare your screen for audio. Right to here, is that how that works?
Yeah. So just stop sharing, and then when you share again, choose the video and sound thing.
Okay, hold on.
But while Robert gets that set up, if anyone knows what imposter syndrome is, drop it in the chat, or if you've ever experienced it.
Yeah, does anybody already know what imposter syndrome is and wants to give a stab at giving us a definition real quick?
Before you begin, E-Man, I realize it's like a thing with my computer where audio has to be installed. So would you or Tahira mind showing your screen for now? Is that okay?
Oh yeah. Here, I'm assuming you're gonna get that, Tahira.
I got it.
So Christopher says, when you feel out of place or unwanted or undeserving despite earning that place. Yeah, that's a pretty good description of what it is, Christopher. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about, or what imposter syndrome means to them, or the definition?
If not, we can get the video started.
Girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are some things that, like, generally you think first generation African American, Black and brown students, what are some struggles that you think they face, particularly with higher education?
I think that one of the biggest things is literally just feeling alone, feeling like there aren't necessarily people around you that may be able to understand how you feel or understand what you're going through. Like, I remember for me particularly, first year of medical school, and obviously like I got closer to you guys, but this is like week one stuff, right? So I remember being around people who would always talk about like, oh, my dad, grandpa, great grandma, and all this. Like, everybody's a doctor. I would like to be this, surgeon person, or I'm going to take over the clinic or whatever. And so, people were very open about that. Yeah. People were very confident in the fact that they are continuing their family lineage. Yeah. And a lot of times they weren't necessarily people of color or Black either. So, for me, that made me feel like I couldn't voice my background, because that at first made me feel like, I don't want to say inferior because I'm not, but it really made me feel like that imposter syndrome. That's when it's really started to hit, because I was like, well, my great grandmother wasn't, this ENT whatever, or like
there's no family practice waiting for me once I get out of here.
Right. Like I don't have that blueprint that it sounds like these guys already knew what was going on with medical school before they got here. And I'm just like, man, I'm just happy to be here. And so it can definitely feel like I felt isolated a little bit.
Lonely.
It can feel lonely. And sometimes you can feel like, you shouldn't talk about your experiences. You shouldn't talk about your journey, because your journey is not like that. You're not the eighth line doctor in your family. So, like, I didn't want to say I felt ashamed, but I felt very sheepish about like my own experiences. So I really kept them to myself. But, when you're keeping all that to yourself, on top of now feeling like these people have an edge on you because they have these doctors in their family and they know all this stuff about medical school, it can really, really get inside of your head sometimes.
Definitely. And that feeds into that feeling, being made to feel smaller or inadequate or inferior or just kind of ashamed of your own background in those kind of settings, like you said, feeds into that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck in class for the next how many ever years or however long you struggle with this, just struggling on top of the like rigor of medical school itself, period. And then you have all these other extra pressures and stresses. I can definitely see how for first generation students, it's alienating and lonely and isolating.
I'll reshare it in a second. Oh, Robert got it. Okay. So we can head to, yes. So the definition of imposter syndrome is you're having this internalized experience, feeling like you don't belong somewhere, or that you feel like a fraud, or that you don't deserve the roles you have or the place that you're in, or you don't deserve to be like in your major in college or something like that, or a certain job. So and that you don't deserve the other opportunities that everyone else has. And it affects a lot of people, but more disproportionately affects underrepresented groups. So women in STEM, Black people in STEM in general, and if you have a combination of those, really gets inside your head. And I'll pass it on to Braylon for the other side. Go back.
It can come from internalized stereotypes or expectations, especially at institutions like RPI. I feel like there's especially towards Brown and Black people, there's like idea of affirmative action and like how you didn't deserve to get where you got, and like it was kind of a handout. And I've definitely internalized that before, but it's like definitely you earned your space here. And pluralistic ignorance, the psychological phenomenon where we each doubt ourselves privately, but believe we are alone in our thinking. And if you ever felt like you don't deserve your place, you're definitely not the only one, and you definitely did earn your spot at RPI or wherever you are, wherever you want to go. So.
Right. So as I said, imposter syndrome can take many different forms. So to kind of give different perspectives, we invited two recent alumni to kind of like share their experiences in their professional lives where imposter syndrome may have affected them. So I want to hand over the floor to Rising and Nelson, and you guys can, introduce yourselves and then start sharing about your experiences. So, whoever wants to go first can go first.
Roger, you can go first.
Well, thank you. I'm Rising. I graduated in 2018. I got my degree in electrical engineering, and now I work for Dell Technologies. out in Austin, Texas. Nelson?
Hey, I'm Nelson. I'm currently working for a film and structural engineering firm in New York City. I got my master's and bachelor's at RPI for 2019 and 2018. And yeah.
Okay. So imposter syndrome is very real at RPI. It's very real outside of RPI. And it shows up in a lot of different areas. I'll be the first to tell you that I'm the last person I expected to be working in my job, but that's imposter syndrome. Because when you start working, you realize that you don't need to know shit to work. Well, not necessarily. Okay, so you have to know stuff from school, but it's you don't need to be so I'm an electrical engineer. So I used to have class with people who were like, "Oh yeah, I built this robot last week," and I used to look at them like, "Yeah, it'd be easy. I just want to get a C." Feel me? But I don't need to know how to build a robot to do what I get paid to do today. So it's although in that moment I felt imposter syndrome, it's really just all in your head, because at the end of the day, we're probably all at the same place. If they're in a better position than me, it's more than likely in a different industry, or it's for a specific reason that has nothing to do with they have a better ability than me. And I think we get caught up in that idea of we don't belong somewhere, and it affects how we live our life thoroughly. And it's that once you let that idea get in your head, it starts to cascade into a lot of different areas, especially with things like promotions and asking for raises, or even salary negotiations. And I see this a lot with minorities and women, especially. You see some people get their first offer and they're like, "Well, I got a job, so I'm good." But the first rule about getting an offer is always negotiate your salary. And then the same thing with when they start working, it's "Oh, I'm working. Let me just keep my head down, do my job, and keep it pushing." When it's imposter syndrome is telling you not to go ask for a promotion, go ask for a raise, because you feel "Yo, I don't deserve it." When in reality, you have to step back and look at where you started and where you're at now, and it's you've done so much over that time period that you need to give yourself more credit and just go out and shoot for it, because closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah. I would definitely echo the point that Ryzen gave about, kind of thinking that you have to know so much when you get started. I think the biggest case of imposter syndrome that I ever had actually came right after I graduated and started working. Mostly because, as you go through school, as a freshman, you don't know anything. People might tell you don't belong there and things as such. But then as you go through school and you continue taking your classes and getting smarter, hopefully you can reinforce for yourself that you do belong there, because you're actually able to get through your classes, your GPA might be going up. And you continually do better, so you feel more at peace with where you are. So for me, I continued progressing through school. Junior and senior year went really well, so I felt like in my mind that I was prepared to go to work. But then when I started working, I got there and I saw everybody that was there, and I was constantly thinking that I was all the way at the bottom of the chain of command in terms of working, and nobody there really looked like me. So I immediately had the feeling that I wasn't going to do well, or that I wasn't good enough, or not as good as the people that were already there. Granted, when you think about it, you come into a spot, wherever you end up working, you get there for the first time. Logically speaking, there's not much that you will know because you haven't been there. But even so, when you're working with other people, you're going to be working alongside people that either have a year of experience, even if it's 6 months. It's still easy to look at other people and be like, wow, that person knows so much more than I do. How did I even get here? but I've worked in other places, and I had the experience to kind of feel that I should be there, and that I came here for a reason. They saw something in me that said, you belong here, but I couldn't explain that to myself because I was at a certain place in school, and I felt like right after I graduated, I came down all the way to the bottom, or that's how I perceived it. Because again, I saw other people, I saw their successes, I saw how articulate they were when they were working, and I could barely speak the language of engineering to other people, even though I've been in school for 4 years. That's how I looked at it. So it's easy for me to perceive myself as being a fraud or a person that didn't know enough because I was looking at other people, comparing myself to people that had more experience, and immediately just saying, yo, I don't even know how I got here. Even though I got to a point where I'd done some work, I was able to negotiate my salary, and I was able to convince myself that the company owes me more because I had this experience. When I got there, I felt like I could have implemented. So it's very easy to convince yourself that you don't belong somewhere when you look around and see that other people have different circumstances that look better than yours, even though you're not taking into account your own background and saying, it's not for me to compare myself to other people. It's for me to understand where I am and where I want to be at a later point in time. And also in school, as was mentioned, there were a lot of cases at RPI where people, not specifically to me, but would say to other people like, oh, this person only got here because he's a minority, where he got some sort of special treatment. That could also further you going down the rabbit hole in terms of imposter syndrome. So yeah, those are the two cases I would speak on.
Yeah, I mean, I want to jump back to what you were saying about being at work. In my team, I'm the youngest on my team by age and career. I think the next youngest guy on my team just finished his MBA and got married at the top of the year. So these guys are like adults. And my boss has children with children. So it's like, and then the guys I work with are like senior engineers. They design everything. There's a guy that sits across from me who his job is now to make patents. So all he does all year round is invent stuff. And it's easy to get caught up in trying to be at their level when it's like, these guys have been working longer than I've been alive. One of my coworkers, he celebrated his 25th year at the company. And I was like, you started working here when my parents didn't think about you. So it's so easy to start comparing where you've reached in life to where someone else is, but your stories aren't the same. And I think that's where imposter syndrome overlooks. You start looking at things through a much different lens than what your life actually is.
Thank you guys so much for sharing. I think I can share a little bit as a student. Like even in the classroom, I'll be sitting in my engineering class, my electrical engineering classes, and the professor's asking a question, and you sit there and sometimes you doubt yourself, saying, yeah, I probably don't know the answer to this, or like you don't even try because you just feel that you're not good enough to be speaking up the answer. But then when somebody else, speaks up, you're like, oh, I did know the answer, So there's always try to remember that you're here for a reason. And even in the classroom, you should always try to not try to dwell on those kinds of feelings. I can give a short story when I was on my co-op at Exxon. At ExxonMobil, this is a large oil and gas corporation. And, in the engineering building that I was in, there was probably 2 Black people, including myself, that were engineers. And, I was just, the entire time I was just like, am I good enough to be here? Like, I don't know if this is really for me. And I remember, my supervisor would be explaining something to me, and I sometimes would be afraid to ask questions, or I don't want to look like, oh, this kid doesn't know what he's talking about. Why is he asking such simple questions? Even though you know, I applied, I interviewed, and I got the position like everybody else. You know, you still have those feelings of doubt. So I want everyone to have a chance to kind of share and talk about their experiences. And so what we're going to do is we're going to have some quick breakout rooms where, you know, we're going to break up into smaller groups, and we're going to, you know, hopefully get some people to talk about their personal experiences, and then the solutions to like how we handled imposter syndrome, or ways you can address imposter syndrome in your school life and your professional life when you do your internships, or, you know, after you graduate. So Robert, you can go ahead and get those started.
Okay. What I'll do is that I'll pause the recording and it'll take a few minutes to set up breakout rooms. So hang on, and eventually you'll get a notification on your screen telling you where to go.
All right, sounds good.
I have to put that music back on, you know.
Yeah, I think next time I'm gonna get elevator music, because that might be nice and calm out.
Okay, so we just shared our experiences, and a lot of common things were finding your people. So whether it's Nesbi, BSA, ASA, SHEP, SWE, any other thing where you can talk to people and they're not going to judge you about your experiences, like find those communities and definitely talk about it, because it's not, you might not ever get over it if you don't like say it out loud to other people. So you're not alone. And don't compare yourself to other people. Your journey is your own. So do not worry about what everyone else is doing, as long as you're doing what you need to do and working your hardest. You're doing great. And then also be kind to yourself along your journey. Braylon, do you want to add anything?
Just believe in yourself. And you know, not to be corny, but you made it this far. You might, what more do you need to do? It's college is only 4 years, you know, which is in the span of time is not much. You can do it.
Yes. Also, Miriam dropped a link in the chat to like a mind thing that she does to help her get over any like negative thoughts. So check that out if you're interested. And I think we can go on to the next thing, the end.
Right, so Rob, we can go to the next slide. We'll just be going through a few more announcements. There's some exciting things that I think everybody would like to hear, so don't leave just yet. Robert, can you go to the next slide? Robert? Oh, there we go. Oh, wait, Robert, can you go back a few slides? All right, so we're starting over Nesbi points. So, you know, it's a new semester. So that means Nesbi points starts over again. So make sure you fill out the attendance sheets, you participate, and get some more Nesbi points so you can win some more prizes as of last semester. And from our winners from last semester, don't worry, we haven't forgot about you. Your Amazon gift cards are on the way. You can go to the next slide, Robert. As per usual, remember, Nesbi RPI has a paid membership, which is $5. And when you pay that $5, you get access to a bunch of different features. So if you haven't paid already, make sure you can Venmo Sydney with your name and your email and Nesbi RPI membership, and you should be good to go. Next slide. And we finally are going to be having Nesbi RPI T-Shirts. So this is going to be free for all of our paid members. So if you didn't pay membership yet, you should definitely go ahead and do that now so you can get this free T-shirt. And Mood had actually designed this like a year ago, and we're finally getting a chance to use it. So go ahead and scan that QR code and like, you know, submit your size and your name so we can make sure we can get a T-shirt for you if you're interested in one. So everybody else, definitely go and fill us out and get a T-shirt. You can go to the next slide, Robert.
If you're not in our Facebook group yet, be sure to join. You can just find it on Facebook. If you're on there, it'll pop up if you just type in Nesbi RPI. Next one. Follow us on Instagram at Nesbi RPI. Also on Twitter at Nesbi_RPI. And then our LinkedIn group as well. You can join. Mahmood drops some professional things in there too. So does Emmanuel. If you're looking for jobs or anything, it's a good place to connect. And then check your emails every Sunday. That's when I send the emails. So please read them. I'm gonna start putting some secret quotes. I know Karina's here. She said that for Shep, that they're putting secret little things in the emails that you remember for the GBM. So maybe we'll start doing that and encourage everyone to read them.
And our quote, and here is our quote of the day from John Lewis. It says, "You are a light, you are the light. Never let anyone, any person, or any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light." So basically the meaning behind this quote is that, like, in relation to like you as an RPI student, is that we all got in for a reason, and you are on your way to becoming an engineer. You worked hard in high school to get here, and don't let anyone, whether it be other students, professors, your boss, for example, during internships, co-ops, take away from your goal of becoming the professional that you want to be. Also, that also includes yourself. Never doubt yourself. So don't let any person, including yourself, take away from who you are and the uniqueness of yourself and the future goals that you want.
I just want to say one more thing.
Oh, go ahead, Nelson.
One more thing. This is sort of a plug. If everybody here has Instagram, if you could please follow Black Rensselaer, Black and Latino alumni group or Latinx alumni group. We are looking to support you guys in as many ways as we possibly can. That is one of the reasons that myself and Rising are here, and why we will continue to be joining events as things progress. Especially if you guys need help, and this is for Shep, AL, Nesbi, BSA, whatever organizations you guys are a part of. If we can help you guys academically, organizationally, we've held a couple of professional events in the past. Any way that you think that we can help you out in terms of either progressing you guys professionally or academically, or even just struggling, if you have any struggles in school that maybe we can help you out with, let us know. You can DM the Instagram page and we'll be having things moving forward. We just want to make sure that we can further a connection between the students and alumni, because at the end of the day, when you become an alum, you then understand where all students are trying to get to. So we're trying to help you guys get to the spots that we're at now and even beyond that. So please do follow, message, and yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing, Nelson. I just want to thank Nelson and Rising again for coming to talk to us at our GBM. I know I really appreciated it, and I know you guys also did. So,
I did it for you, E-Man.
You guys can drop some applause in the chat if you want to. You can react on WebEx or, unmute and applause if you want to. But yeah, I just wanted to give them a big thanks for coming out, because, they didn't have to do this, but they did. So yeah, that's the end of our GBM. Someone had messaged me saying they wanted to play Among Us. So if you guys want to play Among Us, you can always hop in the Discord and get some games going. Stay tuned for the rest of Black History Month. All of the orgs are putting on some amazing events, so please make sure you come out to those. Please, they're gonna be great. Yeah, thank you, and I'll see you guys probably next week.
Thank you.
Good job.